I guess you guys already know, if you have already been listening to my channel, that the people in my life already think I'm crazy, and they thought I'm crazy because I haven't fallen in. Okay. I mean, I've done my best to try to follow the crowd. I really have. But when I look in retrospect and I see the problems that they have, I have endured those problems. I've gone through those problems, and I'm still going through some of those problems, and I just don't see the benefit in it. You know, having to go through the rat race and the whole 9 yards, I just don't see the benefit in it. I don't see the blessing in it. And I don't care what any of you so-called religious people say. You're thinking there's a blessing in the struggle having to deal with the rat race. There is no blessing in it. I'm sorry. And if it sounds like I'm being bitter, no. What I'm doing is I'm telling the truth of what everybody else is thinking. There's nothing funny about having to get up here and struggle just to feed yourself every single day. There's a great big world out here that's been created by our Creator, and most of us are spending over half our lives every single day out here trying to make money for somebody else, some faceless entity, just so we can be able to feed ourselves. And we're too tired or too mentally overburdened to even enjoy what the world has given us. And and we created this. We brought this on ourselves. So what do we do about it? There's a point in time in everybody's life where we want to just sit down and enjoy it. And unfortunately, some of us live our lives on that hamster wheel, just running and running and running. And I want to commend the generation that's coming up behind us. They're being called lazy and entitled. But I look at it like this. You're lazy when you're not trying to work toward anything. That's what I call laziness. You're lazy when you're not committed to something. You're lazy when you're not trying to put forth any effort toward anything. That's what I call lazy. You know, when you don't have a goal, when you don't have any ambition, that's what I call lazy. You're not lazy because you don't do what I don't want you to do. That's not being lazy. That's just you just doing something that I choose not to do. You're doing something that you choose to do and making a choice that I chose not to make. You're doing something different. So it's not my right to turn around and call you lazy. And it may take you a little while to show some fruits, but at least you're on your way. So I'm not going to turn around and call you lazy. And there's some of us in my generation that are doing the same thing. Some of us are sick and tired of having to struggle all the time with situations. Now, there have been times on my channel where I couldn't do lives or I couldn't put out videos in a timely fashion because I had to deal with personal matters. And some of those matters were economic, where I had to put forth a little effort, where finances were a little tight. And those days were very stressful for me. But I had to start a side hustle. I had to pick up a gig. And that kind of took a little extra time. And that can be a little stressful sometimes. But see, I had to do this. I had to pick up these extra gigs. I have to do these side hustles. Because at the end of the day, what I'm doing for someone else, I knew in the long run that it wasn't going to take care of me. See, I'm coming across a generation of people in my generation and the generation ahead of me who did everything by the book, who worked 20, 25, 30 years for someone just to turn around and retire, be retired for just a short period of time, go through the little bit of money that they were given for their retirement just to realize that it wasn't enough, just so they could turn around, go into their closet, polish off their interview clothes, and go back into the workforce again. And I don't want to be that person. I don't. See, I want to be able to enjoy my harvest. So if that means that a few people have to criticize me right now because I'm doing these little hustles, and Lord knows I don't see any fruits now, but I would rather go ahead and do it now and be criticized and know that I can rest later than to turn around and put in all this effort for someone else and have to struggle for the rest of my life. So just put in the comments, how do you feel about that? Don't be so quick to criticize someone who has a dream. You don't stop dreaming when you get a certain age, and you don't give up. Lord knows it gets tough sometimes. It really, really does. But nowadays, it just doesn't work to work for someone else, and that's all you do. It doesn't pay off anymore, people. I'm sorry if it hurts anybody's feelings. It doesn't pay off to work for someone anymore. It just doesn't. Times have changed. The shift has been made. So put aside something for yourself. If you haven't started, start right